Love-inspired suspense and HarperAudio present Defending the Child by Sharon Dunn, performed by Jessica Taige, and Hiding the Witness by Deena Alexander, performed by Alexis Vandom, and Protecting the Orphan by Jody Bailey, performed by Lisa Lindsley. Defending the Child.
To everything, there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. For my readers, as always, whose encouragement keeps me writing. Chapter 1. Mariel Coleman awoke to the sound of someone moving around in her house. The noises emanating from downstairs were muffled, and her first thought was that her 4-year-old foster son, Ian, had crawled out of his bed and gone downstairs for a snack. Not something he had ever done before, but maybe he was starting to feel more comfortable here. Her pounding heart told her something more sinister was taking place. Still listening, she sat up in bed and pulled back the covers. Another noise reached her ears, a heavy boot tread on the floorboards, probably coming from downstairs. Her breath caught in her throat. She had not imagined an intruder. Someone was definitely in the house, and she had reason to be afraid. Ian was the only witness to a crime in which his mother, Kristen, had been killed and his father, David, had disappeared. Police believed that Ian had seen the man who killed his mother, but the boy had gone mute from the trauma. He could only nod or shake his head when asked questions. The police were not sure if the murderer knew Ian had witnessed the crime, but this home invasion confirmed that he had. Her chest squeezed tight as she reached for her phone on the table by her bed and dialed 911. The operator's crisp voice came across the line. 911, what is your emergency? Someone's in my house, 1811 Maverick Lane, hurry, she whispered and disconnected, not wanting any noise to cause the intruder to find her all the faster. Still holding the phone, she bolted up from the bed. After stepping into her slippers and grabbing her robe, she put the phone in her bathrobe pocket and rushed down the hallway to Ian's room. The glow of the nightlight revealed a blonde head and tiny arms that held a well-worn stuffed giraffe. She touched his shoulder and whispered, Ian, wake up. The child turned over on his side, but remained asleep. More footsteps. The intruder was on the stairs. Panic threaded through her, making her heart race. The police wouldn't get here in time. She lived 15 miles from the nearest town. She picked up the boy, taking his giraffe and blanket with her. Ian drew the stuffed animal closer to his chest and let out a tiny moan. They could not leave by the front door without encountering the intruder. Holding Ian close to her chest, she hurried back to her room. She transferred him to one arm so she could grab the go bag she'd prepared for this possibility and pushed open the sliding glass door that led to a balcony and stairs. Cold air enveloped her as snowflakes landed on her face. Ian stirred against her, and she sped down the stairs. Snow soaked through her slippers when she ran around to the front of the house where her car was parked. After tossing the go bag in, she placed Ian in his car seat and back and clicked him in. He was still half asleep. She patted his arm and pressed her hand on his cheek. There you go, little guy. Snug as a bug. She turned her attention to the dashboard as a whole new level of terror sank in, taking her breath away. The car keys were inside the house. She straightened up and glanced down the lonely road at lights in the distance. It was too far to run to the neighbors. In slippers, the trek would be close to impossible. When she looked at the house, she saw a light flashing at a window on the second floor. The intruder was still searching up there. It would be only a matter of minutes before the culprit figured out how she and Ian had escaped. Her hands had been too full to close the balcony door, providing evidence of her escape route. All the intruder had to do was glance out a front window and see that she was by the car. She had to get out of here, and fast. Rushing toward the front door, she tried to ignore how cold and wet her feet had become. Though she'd locked the door before going to bed, it opened when she twisted the knob. Her car keys were in a bowl on a table in the entryway. She grabbed the whole bowl. Her feet were frozen blocks by the time she made it back to the car. She swung the driver's door open, grabbed the keys, and tossed the bowl on the passenger seat. She shoved the key in the ignition and shifted into reverse. Once she was turned around, Mariel switched on the headlights, revealing the long
Sample complete. Ready to continue?